Hi, Antonia and Brittany. So today I'm here to talk to you about Module 6 for learning in digital contexts. The activity I selected was Activity 1, which was making and subject integration. So for my first integration idea, I looked at Scratch and using it in the mathematics strand for grade 4. For my second idea, I looked at integrating both English and music from grade 4 using a website called Forest Ontario. So let's go into integration idea number 1. As mentioned in the video by Adam Savage, students have become so risk adverse, and the maker culture can assist us in returning to higher education. To help us encourage students to make, we need to create a community that promotes making in all areas of education. So for example, today I am looking at the mathematic curriculum for grade 4, and our integration is using Scratch to help identify and compare different types of quadrilaterals and sort and classify them by their geometric properties. As a minds-on activity, students would review how to construct angles and triangles, either using chart paper or making a list of quadrilaterals and angles that they are familiar with. As an action, students would discuss how they will use Scratch to draw a square, rectangle, rhombus, and parallelogram. Then students would also review how Scratch allows the use of angles. As a consolidation, students will come back together and share how they made each shape using Scratch. Students would share their script on chart paper and/or on a project or large screen. The Scratch program on its own takes students through a tutorial on how to use its program.
With Scratch, you can make your own stories, games, and animations. Let's start by grabbing a move block. We can click the block to run it. There are many other blocks to choose from. Check out the different categories. Let's go to the sound category and grab a play sound until done block. I'll snap this onto our move block. When do we want these?
This tutorial just takes students through the basic steps of coding, which will allow them as well to code and animate their shapes, or rotate, flip, and reflect their shapes to get a better understanding for the attributes with each geometric shape. As an extension onto this, students can build their own games or short slideshows and stories surrounding shapes, as well as quizzes for other students to take in the class and test their knowledge on their shapes. As a second idea for integrating making into the classroom, I've looked at Forest Ontario and their section on English and music. For this activity, students will learn about the importance of trees in Aboriginal culture and create short compositions using tree parts as instruments. Curriculum connections that this activity have are for the music portion of the curriculum. So it allows students to create and perform by applying the creative process to create and perform music for a variety of purposes using the elements and techniques of music, as well as exploring forms and cultural contexts to demonstrate an understanding of a variety of musical genres and styles from the past and present and their socio-cultural and historical texts. It also integrates the FNMI curriculum, where it describes characteristics of pre-contact First Nations cultures across Canada, including their close relationships with the natural environment. So for this lesson, students would collect a selection of natural tree materials found on the ground, such as branches, twigs, bits of bark, cones, pods, maple keys. And using all of these items, students would create their own composition. So the beginning of this lesson would start with background information on Aboriginal peoples in Canada and how they share a strong connection with trees and other plants. And then leading into that, we would begin by asking students what an instrument is, how it makes music. After students are able to explore and play with these different instruments, then they will get a chance to create their own composition using the tree parts as their instruments. To take this a step further, What you could do as an extension is have students build their own instrument using these natural tree parts that they go outside and collect. So this allows students to engage in making by encouraging them to use materials found in nature to create pieces of music or compositions. This could also lead into students creating presentations or videos about their favorite modern instruments, such as a guitar or a clarinet, and how these instruments are created using our natural elements around us. For example, from the forest, using wood for a guitar, or the wood mouthpiece that comes in a clarinet. This activity was a really neat one that I had found. Specifically because you can use this for primary and junior, so students from kindergarten all the way up to grade 6 would be able to engage in this hands-on making activity. Thank you for listening to my presentation.